if we want to succeed, I mean, I guess fans don't really have a ton of pull, ton of sway, unless we're really, really pissed off. But if you want to analyze this game correctly, in my opinion, you have to look at the context, right? And you brought that up, Ross, is Manny Diaz, this is not even remotely close to what the opening day depth chart was, right? The rotations are not remotely the same to the opening day depth chart. And as you very eloquently stated it, it's Manny made these changes with his back up against the wall, right? Pressure from the fans, pressure from his boss, pressure from the program. And it's proving that Manny Diaz was wrong, right? Like he was mismanaging the roster, and that's a common theme. I mean, Gregory Rousseau, it took him 7 games to start. So we're seeing a common theme here, right? The favoritism, the seniority stuff is not new. And I find it very ironic that you know, the guys that Manny was burying on the depth chart are going to end up like they're going to end up saving his job. Like they're going to enable him to stay longer so that he can continue to mismanage the roster. That doesn't make sense at all to me, man. Like I think this win should be evidence against Manny Diaz.
Randy Noel makes a good point here, too. Don't forget injuries forced some of these changes, too. Absolutely correct. It wasn't like they sat there and Diaz and them were saying, well, we know this guy's better than the other one. It's no, our starter got hurt and you have to play now.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating to me. Like, I want to give Diaz credit for that. I want to give him props. I want to build off something. But what I don't want, Jordan, is these same things over and over again. Let's say that these problems just don't go away. That means that next season, if Diaz is our head coach, we start off with mistakes, we start off screwing up, and then we finally go to plan B and plan C, which should have been plan A all along, and we start winning. That means that we get mediocre seasons. That means we get 4-loss, 5, 6-loss seasons when we should only get 2 or 3-loss seasons. That's what worries me.
Well, here's the thing, man. It's like I'm looking at this coaching situation the same way, you know, I'm going to rely on what my mom used to tell me when I was trying to date and, you know, had girlfriends and stuff, right? She said, if you're unsure, if there's any unsurety, like try to analyze patterns, right? Analyze the patterns and find out what is a recurring issue. You know, is this the first time a problem happened, or is this a perpetual repetitive problem that always happens? Okay, so we need to make that assessment with Manny Diaz, and we need to decide what are the patterns. Okay, can we live with them? Well, to me, there's a pattern of not developing our young talent, right? I mean, every single year, it seems like it's the transfer portal guys that are the impact players on the team. We have a pattern of not showing up for big games, right? Look at the Alabama game this year. Okay. We have a pattern of having seniority bury our more talented players on the depth chart. This doesn't make sense to me, man. And honestly, I can't live with it. This game did not change me at all. It did not change my opinion at all.
No, me either. I mean, I don't give credit to things when they're being forced like this. I don't give credit necessarily wholeheartedly when there was obvious moves that should have been made a while ago. Why were the fans right about this? Why was the fan base right that younger players should have been in? Why did we seem to have a better grasp on our roster than our own coaching staff did? That's what bothers me, dude. And that's the whole point where, like I said, I'm having a hard time with this because this isn't Manny Diaz. This isn't what Manny Diaz wanted. This is the actual opposite of what Manny Diaz wanted, was having the young guys play this year. He wanted to depend on the old guys who had proven that they weren't good because he is simply a mediocre coach, and he thought that the experienced players would make him look better. Well, the problem is that, Diaz, you lost some bad games this year already. You've already kind of screwed this season up for us because you waited to play kids who are clearly more talented. And that's kind of what pisses me off a little bit, is this is a wasted season.
Well, and I feel like it goes deeper than Manny Diaz. We had the Bob Shoop interview earlier this week where he says, you know, experience is better than talent until your talent gets experience. Now, there's a few ways to break that down. From what I read and saw, it seemed like Shoop meant that is like, we played our experience in the first few games because that put us in a better position to win. I fully disagree. While I agree with his statement, I disagree with his interpretation of it. Because if talent is better than experience, or if experienced talent is better, and that's the main goal, just get it out of the way. Cut your losses and get it immediately, right?
Yes.
Take your lumps, cut your teeth. There's a reason why we have all these idioms in the English language, or all these sayings, or whatever they are. I'm not a grammarian. We have these for a reason, right? They exist. Cut your teeth, take your lumps, okay? So just get Leonard Taylor out on the field. Let him get some experience pushing around Power 5 offensive linemen, okay?
Yeah.
Let James Williams get comfortable in the defensive backfield. You notice on that last drive where we picked off Kenny Pickett, Leonard Williams sack, and then James Williams pick.
Yep. And that's the youth. The guys who simply did not want to, or the guys that Manny Diaz didn't want on the field specifically. And that's, when it's so blatant, I guess that's the part that shocks me, Jordan, when it's so blatant and it's so obvious who the better players are. I'm worried. Like I said, say Diaz is our coach next year. Who's going to say that he's not going to repeat the same mistakes to start another season again, just leaning back on things that he wants to do because he's a stubborn coach. He's flat out stubborn. I was actually reaching a point with Diaz where I was starting to worry that he was comfortable losing as long as he was allowed to play his brand of football, kind of like Pete Carroll. And that's worrisome, dude. Very, very, very worrisome.
Yeah, the problem for me, and the administration is putting us into this predicament as fans, okay? If you're on Twitter, if you're active on Twitter, you'll notice that there's a faction of fans who are actively cheering for us to lose. Then there's another faction of fans that aren't down with that. And I can see both sides, right? I'm kind of on the fence. I'm probably leaning towards, well, let me say it this way. The administration is putting us fans in a really bad spot, right? Because me, someone who is inclined to almost feel like we should lose these games, it's because I don't trust the administration to do what's right.
Yeah.
Okay. As going back to what I said earlier with the patterns, okay, in my opinion, Manny Diaz has shown repeated patterns, 3 straight seasons of inadequate coaching, right? Destructive patterns that will not lead us anywhere positive. Okay. And yet, I think we can all agree that if he wins a few more games this year, he's going to have his job saved. And that's just, the administration shouldn't do that to us, man. Like they make a lot more money than us, right?
Oh, yeah.
they should be intelligent enough to make the proper business decision in this scenario. And I don't believe it. I have zero confidence. in the leadership. And that's why, I'm torn when we win a game, because it's like, man, are we going to be dealing with this a year from now? Are we going to be 4-4 again and dealing with this same conversation?
Ohio Kane, thank you for the $5 donation. Says, I still think Manny's gone this season. I'm just really happy for the kids. Great win. Absolutely. We can support the players without supporting the philosophies of the coaching staff. We can want the players to improve while still looking to the future and possibly making changes. Absolutely.